Most of you guys remember using synthetic division. It's a lot easier to use than long division because you're only dealing with coefficients and integers and fractions. You're not dealing with variables along with those numbers. So when you're doing this type of problem, if you have a form of x minus k, then that means that you're going to be able to take whatever is this last number and you're going to put the opposite inside the box. And then what you do is you bring down all of your coefficients from your problem and bring them down into the first row. Bring down the first term, so whatever your first term is, that's going to go below the line. And anything below this line here, you're going to end up and multiply by your k value up here. Also remember this last number here. This last number is always going to be your remainder. So if we want to use synthetic division to solve this problem, we're going to have a little box here, and we're going to bring down the 5, 8, the -1, and the 6. And we have to be careful. We look through, we have an x to the third, we have an x squared, we have an x to the first. We don't need any placeholders. So now what goes in the box is going to end up being the opposite of what you see right here. You see a +2, so that means you need to put a -2 in the box. Alright, so the first number to bring down, bring the 5 down below the line. And then anything below this line you have to multiply by whatever is inside the box. So we're going to multiply this by -2, that gives you a -10. So if you add those down, then you end up getting a -2 here. So you multiply this -2 by the number in the box. Multiply that by -2, that gives you a positive 4. So when you add those down, -1 and a positive 4, that gives you a 3. And 3 must be multiplied by the -2, which gives you a -6, and you end up with 6 minus 6, which is 0. Now also remember that this last number here, this is your remainder. Alright, so now what do you do with whatever is left underneath your line? Well, this is called your depressed polynomial. It's probably depressed because it doesn't have any variables attached to it yet. It also could be depressed because it's lower than everything else. So what you do for your final answer is you're just going to say, well, I have a 5. And if you start with an x to the third and you're dividing by an x to the first, that means you're going to get an x squared minus 2x plus 3. This will be your final solution.